There is something incredibly fishy about drug testing in professional sports. Look, I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy. If you guys have watched any of my content, I'm not always tooting the horn about how these leagues are rigged from the top down, but as someone who's pretty big into fitness and is pretty knowledgeable about these things, and I'm not the only one to say this, I'm sure there's a lot of people that agree with me. But these guys that quote unquote pass drug tests or even fail drug tests, we'll talk about the people who fail drug tests later. But guys like, if you watch the NFL, Nick Chubb, Miles Garrett, T.J. Watt, in the NBA, LeBron, Giannis, these guys, they're not natural. They're not lifetime naturals. I'm not saying that these guys have been taking steroids for 15 years and are blasting every single season. I don't believe that. But these guys are not lifetime naturals. It's pretty obvious. I'll talk about the NBA first because it's probably more insane, I would say. Now, these physiques of LeBron and Giannis, they could be achieved naturally. Now, you'd have to be that height. You're not going to, if you're 5'9", you're not going to look like Giannis, obviously. But someone of Giannis's height, you could probably, most people who are 6'11", you could probably get to his muscularity. I'm not completely discounting it. It'd be a 50-50, probably half a guys 6'11" who have his ethnic background and all that could get to his size and leanness. And same thing with LeBron. But the reason why I know that both of them are not natural, and when I say not natural, it's fully encompassing. I'm including EPO, I'm including SARMs, I'm including testosterone, I'm including HGH, anything hormonal that is illegal. Now, the reason why I know neither of these guys are lifetime naturals is in a cardiovascular sport, you are going to be losing tissue substantially. Like throughout the season, you are going to be losing 5 to 10 pounds of muscle at least. 82 games, practices on every other day. With how intensive the NBA is, and all these little minor injuries that these guys get to where they are not lifting during the season and doing miles of intense cardio, you're going to be losing muscle. You cannot maintain that size as well as maintaining that cardio. It's just not possible. Like, it is not the physiques on their own possible. The physiques with the cardio, with the maintaining of the muscle throughout the season and not losing anything, it just isn't real. I mean, it just isn't possible. Then we get into the NFL. Guys like Nick Chubb, who could step on a bodybuilding stage, an untested bodybuilding competition, and if he spent a month dieting, he probably would win almost every single show. You got Miles Garrett, you got Nick. I mean, Miles Garrett is 280 with abs. He's diced. And once again, although the NFL isn't as much of a cardio sport, still a lot of cardio, a lot of physicality. And when I say physicality, the reason why it's tough to hold on to that amount of muscle is to be that muscular. You need to, number one, have phenomenal genetics, top 5% genetics. You need to, number two, have phenomenal diet. You need to be doing a minimal cardio. You are not maintaining that much muscle, running, jogging, doing anything other than lifting. And then you can't have any injuries. But you, most importantly, need to be focusing on lifting. These guys have bodybuilding level physiques, like professional bodybuilding level physiques, while maintaining athleticism, while maintaining cardio, while maintaining their physique throughout the entire season. A guy will injure his, hip, be out for 8 weeks, come back same amount of muscle, even though he wasn't able to lift at all. It just isn't possible. And the reason why I bring this up is not to knock them, because it's what needs to be done to be a professional athlete. But you'll see guys who are skinny. Sean O'Malley, and this is UFC. It's a different sport, but Sean O'Malley, a skinny guy, doesn't even look like he's an athlete. He'll pop for drugs. You'll see all these guys that some of them are muscular, but some of these guys just look like a run of the mill. It's like, you were the guy that I would think would be natural. and these guys are failing. And for me, it does raise some suspicion on how exactly does this work when it comes to drug testing. Is the situation where the NFL says you cannot take X amount. We can't see you over this threshold. It's unsafe and we don't want you dying. Okay, I could see something along those lines. Or we can't have you failing 4 tests in 1 year. On your 4th test, we're going to bust you. Is it we don't like you, we're going to bust you, et cetera, et cetera. You pissed off the owners and we're going to, like, I don't really know what is going on with these drug tests. But the fact that it always seems to be the least likely guys, the least muscular, the least physically, and by no means am I saying these guys are scrubs. I mean, these guys are still in tip-top shape, but somehow all of the freaks of nature who defy reality, all are natural, have never failed, and then the guys that look normal are failing the drug test. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Feel free to comment down below if you agree, but I think something's fishy. There's something that the fans don't know. There's got to be some procedures that we just aren't privy to. And don't forget to check out the description and stay tuned for more.